Welcome back to the Holler. tnholler.com is where you can find us. Appreciate all the support. We also have Hollers hollering across the state. Say hello to Dr. Mimi Syed. Dr. Syed, how are you today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
So where are you, first of all?
I'm in Washington State in Olympia. That's where I live and work.
What kind of doctor are you?
Emergency. I'm board certified in emergency medicine.
When did you first go to Gaza?
My first trip there was August of 2024. I stayed there for a month. And then my second trip there was in December of 2024. And I stayed there the entire month.
How did you decide to go there? Is this something that you've done often, is go into places like that?
No, I'm a normal community doctor. I actually don't have any global health background. I've never done any mission work abroad. I work in a community setting. I'm from Chicago, so I worked in underserved areas. Really, the reason I went in, because I'm a mom, I happen to be a doctor that has the skills that they needed at the time. After seeing these images come on my phone over and over again for months, I couldn't hold back. I mean, I had to go. I kept seeing children, being massacred and our government supporting it, my tax dollars supporting it. So at the very least that I could do is show up.
Who brings you? How do you get there? How does that work?
They're organizations, they're NGOs, they're US based. They go through the UN and WHO, and then they work with the Ministry of Health and also COGAT, which is the Israeli part. There's no approval really. You just have to be competent at your job. The Israeli side, they can deny you for no reason, just arbitrary reasons. I know they said that no doctors of Palestinian origin can. So that's why they ask you, what's your surname? What's your dad's name? What's your grandfather's name? Where were they born? Where were you born?
What is your background?
My parents are from Pakistan, born and raised in Chicago. I've been back once as a child.
That first time, what was it, a big group?
In August, it was a larger group. I think there was about 24 of us. Nurses, doctors, humanitarian workers, social workers. You cross through Jordan. That's the only opening now. Rafah used to be open. It was the Egyptian side, and they used to let a lot more in. Israeli government has shut that down.
And do you sleep at the hospital? How does that work? Where are you staying?
Yeah, you sleep at the hospital. The Nasser Hospital is on the fourth floor. It's essentially converted into like living space.
And is Nasser Hospital the hospital that was just double tapped?
Yep, that's the hospital. That's the fullest functioning hospital, partially functioning, I would say, but it has a CT scan. The volumes are incredible. They're not anything you could sustain. The lack of resources that makes it a barely functioning hospital, but it is the biggest serving one.
What was the relationship between what you expected to see and what you saw?
It was much worse. I had been looking at all of the images that we've all been seeing on social media. I knew that I would be seeing horrific things, but it's very different when you see it in person. The destruction that you witness. You're in these Land Rovers, bulletproof windows, and you go through the checkpoint into Gaza to get to your hospital, and it is completely destroyed, like rubble. Apocalyptic to go from normal kind of civilization, and you go in and you see nothing but destruction. And then you start seeing children walking around unsupervised, no shoes on. It's like a movie scene, something that you don't expect to see in this day and age.
Israel still insists that they don't target civilians. After seeing what you saw, how does that ring to you when you hear them say that?
Yeah, I mean, what I saw obviously contradicts that. But also, you should look at what the Israeli government just published, which is the database of how many civilians. I think 84% of their casualties in Gaza are civilians. They are saying that. You don't need to believe me. All of the patients that we saw were civilians. I never treated a soldier or anybody with a weapon on them. The men that we did even see were coming in with their families. Combatants don't fight in the field with their family members. And the majority of my patients were all children, women and children.
There's this Hamas boogeyman that gets used to excuse
Right.
everything. Human shields argument, the tunnels argument. Is Hamas a presence there?
So I'm sure they're there. Personally, I have never seen them. I had a medical student that I walked around in the markets with. I walked around by myself a lot of times in the encampments. I never saw any combatants. I'm not saying they're not there. I'm just saying I never saw them. My colleagues never saw them. We talked to everybody. We worked at all hours and we had access to everything. So there was no area where the hospital administration or the Ministry of Health was like, oh, no, you're not allowed to go there. Aside from our safety from the drones that were overhead, Israeli military, there was never a time where I felt I'm going to get kidnapped. The only people I was afraid of were the Israelis, and those are the only soldiers I saw.
So you didn't feel unsafe from anything but basically bombs overhead?
No, it's like the opposite, Justin. I mean, I'm telling you, I walked around and they would give us vests to wear, the NGO, and mine had an American flag on it. And in the beginning, I was like, oh, there's no way I'm wearing this. We're the ones supplying these bombs and these poor people. I'm not going to go wear this in public. But it was like the opposite. People were stopping me and thanking me for coming and standing in solidarity with them. They would literally say, thank you for leaving your safety and your family. We know that you don't represent your government. Thank you for coming and giving us hope. I mean, it's something I never thought I would hear there. A displaced family that was there, and they're like, "Why don't you come in and let me make you some coffee?" 2 dozen people. They just came and surrounded me, and they were so happy to see me. I left the hospital on my own, and I knew there could be a strike and I could get hurt. I just wanted to see for myself what was out there, and it was nothing but families, children living in these deplorable conditions.
How much of a sense of the famine starvation element did you have? It seems like that's been getting worse and worse. These GHF sites that are turning it into a Hunger Games.
All of these agencies have been saying that there is impending famine. I was seeing signs of acute malnourishment. I took pictures of all of this. I reported it in several media sites. Blotches of hair missing on small children, hypopigmented skin discoloration. You would see typically with nutrient deficiencies, young children with baby teeth that were necrotic, so they were rotten. These are things that are preventable. We were seeing signs of that in December. But then this like 6 month long blockade happened of food, and it became significantly worse, where we are now in famine. Parents will be the last. They have more reserve, but babies specifically will die first.
Something like, I think 65,000 now are dead. Do you have a sense if that's an undercount and overcount accurate? It would make sense to me that there's probably a lot of people under the rubble still.
We should be thinking to ourselves, why don't we know the exact number? And the reason is because Israel does not allow any independent journalists in, and they don't allow any investigators in. World Health Organization took the UN to account that nobody's allowed to actually give us a number. They want to cover it up. Obviously, you don't want to expose the truth. The Ministry of Health in Gaza, they underreport numbers. They are so careful about maintaining credibility that I have seen with my own 2 eyes. They don't count certain people if there's any question. The Lancet, I think, came out with a projected number, and this was a while ago. They are undercounting by 40%. And that's an incredible number, because just like you said, there are people that are dying in the field, parents or their family, whoever it is, they're not going to bring them to the hospital just so they could be counted. It's not safe to get to the hospital, or they are under the rubble and they left them there. I don't know how many people are found like that. And that's counting the direct death as a result of military conflict. But then there are also indirect deaths, actually, because of the implemented deliberate starvation, the engineered conditions of the healthcare system. When you destroy the water system, the sanitation, electricity grid, block fuel from entering, you will have more deaths.
You mentioned on another interview that you did, tried to bring in formula and were stopped. Is it true that some of the aid is being blocked? I mean, I've seen videos of settlers at the border standing in front of trucks, blocking trucks from coming in.
So on August 21st, I was supposed to go back for my third mission. 12 hours before I was supposed to enter, we were told through our NGO, "You're denied." Both of us have been extremely vocal in the news. I was traveling with baby formula, medical supplies, medications, plasma exchange filters, protein like tuna, chicken, those type of things that are in packets. All of that was in my luggage, and I wasn't allowed to enter.
How in tune are they to the political situation? Just had an article about, this Greater Israel Project, where it seems like that's becoming more and more a reality, where a plan of eventually Israel annexing, turning it into the Gaza Riviera, the Trump plan that we heard about months ago, starting to come to fruition. Do people have a sense that's actually becoming a reality?
You mean people in Gaza?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, they know because they can see it. They hear about these things, and of course, they're scared to death that they're going to be ethnically cleansed and taken out of their land. I mean, they're seeing it happen in front of them live, but there's no place to go. It's a tenth the size of Rhode Island, smallest U.S. state. They're going to reduce that by 88% by taking over Gaza City and pushing everybody to the south. So just imagine putting 2 million people in that small space. It's impossible. We're already seeing overcrowding and diseases because of it. When I asked my student about this, she's like, "There's no place to go. I'm going to go to the street." Most of the patients we had when we were there in Gaza, they were coming from these humanitarian zones that they would say that are safe zones, but then they would bomb those places. There's no safe place. I mean, if the hospitals are being bombed, then obviously that tells you a little bit about the preservation of these humanitarian. There is none. People will get killed no matter where they are.
I have family in Israel. My grandparents survived the Holocaust. They had numbers on their arms. I've had a really hard time talking about this. How do you talk to people like my family, like my friends? How do you get them to understand that there is no real justification for anything that's going on there now, and this has to end?
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of conflating. People say, well, if you're against Israel, you're against Judaism or you're anti-Semitic. And I don't think they're the same thing. I mean, you would know better.
They are not the same thing. I can
They're
tell you
not
that
the
right
same
now.
thing. The most anti-Semitic thing that I have seen is what the Israeli government has been doing, inciting violence towards people of Jewish heritage. This is not about your religion. This is not about politics. Let's not starve children. Let's not shoot children in the head. Just today, I saw in Khan Yunis, they struck a line of children waiting for water. We would get casualties, children playing a soccer game, children flying kites. Don't tell me this is a coincidence. Absolutely intentional. Even if you don't want to admit that snipers are doing this, if I took a gun and started spraying a population, 50% of children, indiscriminately with a gun, we would be monsters. Nobody would justify that and say, oh, well, it wasn't a sniper. How do you say that this is a controversial thing to say children shouldn't be killed? Hospitals shouldn't be bombed?
Conflating Zionism with Judaism has definitely become a big part of what's gone on. And if my family and friends want to be safe and secure, they should want this to end. What's going on there is what's fueling the anti-Semitism. Not to excuse it, I'm just explaining a lot of it and where it's coming from. I do think Israel has overreached here. One of the two major political parties in this country has now completely shifted. I don't think you're going to be able to run as a Democrat without being on the right side of this issue. Assuming we still have elections in this country, things are going to look very different for Israel on the other side of this.
Even Israelis. I was published twice in Haaretz, and I got so many people from Israel, like doctors from Israel, or even just readers from Israel, messaging me and saying, thank you for doing that and for your work. Yes, polls do indicate that they believe that there are no innocent civilians in Gaza. I think it's like 76%.
The Holocaust happened to us. The cognitive dissonance there is upsetting. I mean, even the families of the hostages are out at those protests.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and that's the thing, like us saying, let's not starve children or kill children, doesn't mean that I'm pro Hamas. I don't condone violence. I'm a doctor. And it's terrible that they're hostages. They should be brought home, except we do need to recognize that Israel doesn't care about the hostages. They wouldn't indiscriminately bomb and prevent food from getting in.
The hostages' families say what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, if they did it, they would have strategic strikes. They have the best intelligence in the world. It doesn't mean I'm pro Hamas. I don't have Arab descent. I'm not Muslim. I'm not Palestinian. I'm not Jewish. I have no ties to the area. I'm not even a global health worker. I'm literally an American mom. I just think what's happening is terrible, and I want to do everything in my power to stop it. And I think that's how most people should feel. Everyone should feel.
Well, I appreciate, first of all, that you're even a doctor in the first place in itself is an amazing, heroic thing. But then to volunteer to go in a war zone when you have a family, deeply respect it. I see that you're doing interviews and speaking out, which is its own sort of bravery. Honestly, I feel badly that I didn't speak out sooner. I said something a few months back for the first time, but I had been feeling it for a year and I should have said something sooner. What are your plans now? Are you planning to go back?
Yeah, I plan to return when I can. I will keep trying and I will continue doing the advocacy work in the media, everything that I possibly can do to stop this. I won't stop until people are safe in Gaza.
Thanks for coming on here. Really appreciate the time. Where can people find you on social media?
I'm at Instagram, DrMimeier. So Dr. Mimi ER, one word. And I'm also on X at Memers1ST. And I recently joined TikTok, but I'm not great at it.
It's been probably our most effective platform, even though it's
Has
our
it?
newest. Yeah, I believe a big reason why they wanted to shut down TikTok, China was the cover story. I believe this was the main reason because people were starting to shift on this topic. So I still believe that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Syed. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Justin.